Tastes really good. So I actually went through a couple iterations of my New Year's resolutions. Like, that is going to be my primary habit goal of 2022. Hello everyone, happy new year. I just made myself a cup of oat milk latte for the first time. Tastes really good. Today I wanted to sit down and quickly share with y'all some of my New Year's resolutions. So I am a really big New Year's resolutions gal, and I don't know, I know some people don't really like doing it, but for me it really just helps set the tone for the year, and it puts me in this really positive and just motivational mindset. So I really enjoy doing them. So I actually went through a couple iterations of my New Year's resolutions, like 3 or 4, and it started off first with just a big brain dump of all of my thoughts, things I want to do, and then it started to narrow down into like, okay, what's actually practical? What can I actually do this year in a feasible amount of time? With my New Year's resolutions, I do tend to be quite ambitious with them. I do list out a lot because there's just so much that I want to achieve, and you know, a year is really long, 365 days. It can also be really short. It can also fly by so fast. So it really is up to how much drive you have to achieve these goals and how much effort you want to put into it. I journaled them down here, but I actually have been really getting into Notion. I made a New Year's resolutions Notion board here, and it's just so much more organized and more refined. So I'll read it off of my Notion board. The first one is career, and there are 2 goals in this bucket. The first one is pertaining to my actual job, which I can't really share too much. I hope that throughout the year I would be able to share more information about this goal as it progresses, but it just basically tackles like the typical 9-to-5 job goals, which is, you know, get that coin, get that promotion. The second one is on YouTube. So it says focus more on YouTube. I want to invest more time into finding my YouTube identity. I want to find the balance between creating content that I enjoy and content that my audience loves. So YouTube was the biggest growing space for me in 2021. It was a really exciting year on YouTube, and it was just something that I didn't expect to happen. It was always just a side hobby, my creative outlet that I just genuinely enjoyed doing. Didn't really expect too much from it, so I never really thought that YouTube would be integrated into like my career aspect of things, but I'm trying to take it a little bit more seriously this year. Serious as in putting even more effort into creating fun and exciting content for y'all, engaging with you guys, just working with more brands that I love to work with, a lot of these things, and just trying to figure out how I fit into this entire YouTube landscape, because I think there are so many amazing content creators on here, and I'm just trying to find my own path, my own color. All right, so the second bucket is health and wellness. I feel like I am pretty active as an individual, but I really want to be toned and I want to be the fittest I've ever been. That is my first bullet point. The action item here is to work out at least twice a week. I feel like I at least work out once a week, so twice a week isn't that much for me. The second bullet point is be cautious about what I eat and when I eat specifically. I used to be on an intermittent fasting schedule. I only eat between the hours of 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. I was really good about my intermittent fasting schedule pre-pandemic. This past year, I kind of lost it. I lost the groove of things and I just kind of want to get back. Next up, we have the self-improvement section, and I love self-improvement. I love working on myself. I love learning new things. And so there was just so many things here on this list, and I really had to narrow it down. The first one is to get into reading again, and the action item is to read one book a month and keep track of them. I used to read a lot pre-pandemic because I commuted a lot. I went out a lot, and during my commutes, I love carrying my book. So reading more is my number one self-improvement goal of 2022. The second one is to continue developing my vocabulary. I have a lot of vocabulary books at home. Somewhere along the way, I just stopped writing down new vocabulary words and really intentionally learning new ones. So I want to get back into it. The third one is to get rid of my filler words. I really want to sign up for a public speaking class. This has been a want for me for the past 2 years, ever since I started full-time job, full-time working, because I do give a lot of presentations. And then also, since I've started doing YouTube, I have noticed that I say a lot of filler words. So I want to get rid of my ums, my likes, my uhs, which I say a lot. And then lastly, for my last bucket, I have habits. I feel like habits are those things that are really hard to change because, first of all, you have to be pretty self-aware, or you have to get certain feedback for you to understand, like, oh, these are good habits or these are bad habits and I want to work on them. And then secondly, you have to always keep them at the top of your head because it's kind of hard to measure them. And it's something that you have to proactively work on every single day to change. So for habits, I have two. The first one is to stop being a yes woman. I need to stop overcommitting myself and under-delivering. I need to learn how to say no. I feel like everyone struggles with this problem of how to say no, and this past year, I really found myself just like not doing anything really well because I always said yes to everything, and I overcommitted myself in like social aspects, in work aspect. I was trying to juggle 100 things at a time, and saying yes and flaking or under delivering is way worse than saying no and setting expectations at the get-go. So that is going to be my primary habit goal of 2022, is to learn how to say no. The second goal is to be more present, reply to all texts and emails by end of day. It is really difficult to maintain friendships and relationships as an adult because you don't get to see them every day. You don't get to see your friends or even your family every single day. And so I've found that virtual communication is super important. And if I can't spend that quality time with them, I still need to keep up with them somehow and keep up that line of communication. I am literally the worst texter. I will not shoot the shit with you. I will just text you if like we need to make a plan to meet up, which I'm always down to meet up in person, catch up in person. Or if you text me like, hey Julia, I'm dying, like I will come running to you. I don't really reply to text messages, but my goal of the year is to reply to all text messages by the end of the day. Okay, so that was everything. Let me take a sip of my coffee. That was like a mouthful. So to keep myself on top of these goals and to make sure that it doesn't get lost in the sauce of life, obviously I wrote all of them down and put it on a page on my Notion, which I'm trying to use a lot more this year. I also created another page, which is my daily checklist, and on there I have some action items, and then I will put the days as columns and just check them off at night and see what I did. So I really like this daily checklist. I've been using it for, as you can see, the past 2 days. This is the 3rd day now, but it's equivalent to bullet journaling, where you have like the small calendars and you can tick off days where you did things. I think this is actually much more cohesive and much easier to read, and something that will just keep me on track and I can look back onto. So that is it for this little segment. If y'all are also pretty gung-ho about New Year's resolutions, please drop them down below. Whether you have like 3 really big overarching goals or a lot of small mini sub goals like me, I would love to read about them. And yeah, I hope that we can achieve all of these goals together in 2022.
Teclas pretas não saem do lugar quando o corno inglês ter que ir pro xadrez porque não tem mais onde ficar. Quando o prelúdio nem começar
Finally gathered everything I need to make these summer rolls. Here I have a bowl of really warm water for dipping the rice paper skins in. I cooked and sliced some pork belly, shrimp. This is the peanut butter and hoisin sauce, which is the dipping sauce. And we have some chives and lettuce. So let's start assembling. All right, let's start eating. I'm so hungry. Please excuse my poor wrapping skills. I tried my best. A big scoop of sauce. Alrighty, big bite.